Greetings, traveller. Come in and take a seat by the fire. Today we will be continuing our tale together. A tale of escalation and repercussion, of the fear born of age and the naivete born of inexperience, the ending of old ways and the beginning of a new age, born of a transcendent equalizer, a universal constant. Rage. The Hunter's Requiem, Part 3. The hall is filled with the bubble of muttered conversation, muted but in so many voices that it still seems somehow deafening. You look up, taking in the smoke-stained rafters above. The hall is large, by the standards of your people, but hardly an architectural wonder. Rough-hewn beams hold aloft a roof made of branches and woven rushes. It is a huge circular construction that sits at the center of one of the largest tribal holds in the deep swamp, Clor Dragur. The Trall's Moot is called only rarely. This is only the second to occur in your lifetime, and the first to deal with an existential threat on the level that is now being discussed. Such a gathering is not called for simple disagreements over hunting grounds or territory. In those circumstances, the tribes themselves negotiate, and should such discussion fail, a contest of strength between champions resolves the question in perpetuity. The Trall Moot is called only to resolve an issue facing all of your kind. As is tradition, anyone is entitled to attend, and to listen to the ruminations of those Tralls still in sufficient possession of their faculties to discuss and decide the path of your race. Even those too far gone to contribute are present for the momentous discussion, and you cannot help but glance across the hall at the small knot of craggy Trall deemed too far gone for meaningful input. Most look on listlessly, their eyes glazed and clouded, their limbs twitching involuntarily. A few look around themselves with an altogether more ferocious countenance, beady black eyes watchful and malice-ridden. Almost every tribe is represented by their Trall, and you feel a pain in your chest as you recall your own, lying butchered amidst the smouldering wreckage of your tribal home. The humans had moved fast, far faster than anyone would have anticipated. 30 or so of the creatures had swarmed into your camp not 1 week after your moment of incandescent violence, sweeping through the hunters keeping watch and laying waste to the flimsy wooden fence and rough hide tents like a tornado. Calfraga, the voice and heart of your tribe, had managed to force a plea for mercy from their calcified lips before the humans had hacked into their stony hide. You had made your second kill that day, managing to pull some other hunters along with you as you fought to keep the invaders from the tribe's remaining younglings. But you were all so very outmatched. The humans had pursued you, screeching in their clumsy, high-pitched tongue, as you led what was left away from the slaughter. But they had not stopped at your tribe. There are several empty benches lining the walls for this moot.
Several sporting pits have already been destroyed. If this invasion continues, we will see our numbers dwindle to nothing.
Calthrag's tribe has suffered similarly to your own, though a warning did reach them in time to soften the blow.
We cannot answer their violence in kind.
These words belong to Cal Graka, Trall of the Gandar tribe.
Feeding a fire does not sate it. We will only cause it to spread.
There are murmurs of assent from many of the other trials, and the trial of Clor Dragur, who has agreed to host this moot, rumbles in agreement.
The humans will grow tired of hunting us through the swamp soon enough. Until they do, the skirt tribes are welcome to share our hunting grounds here, without need for contest.
We are grateful, Kaldashkur. Let us grant the humans time to cool their tempers before we return to the skirt.
And what of the pits?
The spawning pits are holy places to your kind, the origins of life, the sacred nexuses, where the ritual of birth takes place and new younglings claw their way into the world.
When the humans withdraw, we will discuss the pits.
Again, murmurs of agreement. You feel your throat tighten in disgust.
We should spend our time in consideration of how best to deal with the one who caused this.
A dozen pairs of pitch-black eyes turn towards you, and you are transported back to your youth, being scolded by your elders. Silence rests over the assembled tribes like a cold, heavy blanket.
In the absence of your trial, you are permitted to speak.
In the absence of your trial. Smoke stings your nostrils, mingled with iron. You taste the ash of your own home once more. The absence. You rise from your seat on the uneven bench and take a step towards the center of the room, trying to ignore the lump forming in your neck. The eyes of your assembled kin follow you in silence. Weariness suffuses your very being, but you remain straight-backed and force your knees not to tremble with exhaustion.
What punishment do you feel would suit your crime?
You take a moment to gather your thoughts, but they muddy with emotion time and again. After what feels like an age, you begin to speak. You speak of loss. Rakar Trell's disembodied head crying out for justice in your mind's eye. You speak of rage, feeling the bone knife scythe cleanly through pale flesh, remembering the course of your life, scrabbling for survival in a swamp that bends its very will against you at every turn. Finally, you speak of punishment. It is punishment enough to watch your people continue to decline. It is punishment enough to allow your people to continue fleeing in the face of an invader that has already robbed you of the entire world. Punishment enough to see the spawning pits desecrated and be forced to do nothing as your own kind are pushed towards their extinction.
Punishment enough to survive.
Kalgraka's words cut through the voices raised in agreement and dismissal around the hall. Your lips curl into an involuntary snarl. Why survive when you can no longer live? Why flee an enemy who has already taken everything? There are many voices calling out in alarm at your words, but many more rise in agreement. It seems many of your kin feel similarly cornered by your shared history, but one stands out above them.
The hunter speaks true.
You turn in shock to see Kalbrankor's gaze resting on you. This trial has not spoken for several years, according to their tribe, and there was word that they might be on the cusp of succumbing to their gifts, as all trial must. Indeed, their eyes seem to carry a hint of an edge uncommon to their kind, although their physical form seems largely intact and functional. Silence descends upon the hall once more.
They lack experience, knowledge. We have guided our kind through countless ages.
And look at us now.
Calbrancor swings an arm to encompass the hall.
Look at our lives in mud, filth, and fear. Perhaps a little fresh thinking is in order after all these centuries.
The trial rises to their feet, muscled forms seeming to fill the hall as they loom over the gathered tribes. Those trial no longer fit to speak are looking on with renewed interest now, some clenching and unclenching their fists, or grunting as Calbrancor turns towards you.
This hunter has struck a blow against an enemy that has pursued our people to our very end.
The trial bears tusks at their peers, then turns to the assembled tribes.
I propose we punish them in kind.
At this, the hall falls silent once more, anticipation rippling in the air.
Let them carry a message to our human aggressors. The message that we will no longer sit idle in the face of their reckless hatred. That we are no longer willing to be pushed towards our end without a word. I propose exile as punishment.
Calbrancor slams a slab-like fist into their open palm.
And my tribe will follow them to see the punishment carried out.
A roar echoes out from the far side of the hall, where one of the fallen trial has risen to their feet.
My tribe will also follow and mourn.
Other voices are clamouring around the hall now, not just trial, but kin of all castes and roles. Your heart is thrumming in your chest. You had thought your frustration unique, but here you stand in the centre of a maelstrom of patience broken. Several of the trials sit in silence, Calgraca and Kaldashkur among them, battered by the waves of sound, before the trial of Gandhar finally rises to speak their turn.
The tribes have spoken.
There is a weariness in their words, a resignation.
Ours is to guide, not to command.
They turn to look at you, and you can see a deep sadness in the slope of their shoulders as they continue.
The hunter is no more. Your punishment has slain your past. You will be Herald, and you shall lead all those who choose to follow, to deliver the wishes of our people, to sue for lasting peace with mankind.
You are outside now, wind brushing against your cheek, eyes shut and breath even, as you marvel at how swiftly things have changed. You entered the hall a dangerous criminal and left it with near half the attendant tribes at your back. Herald. It has a nice ring to it.
Lasting peace is a fool's dream.
Calbrancor looms behind you, having just broken your moment of quiet reverie with their words. You did not hear them approach, despite their size, lost in thought as you were.
The humans will never accept it willingly.
That is likely the truth. Millennia of conflict are not washed away in a single day, and you've seen enough of the humans to readily believe they will not accept a simple negotiation. no matter how it is dressed up in pretty words. Your people are going to war, at a scale hitherto undreamt of. You cast a look over your shoulder at the massive frame of your unexpected supporter. A Thrall, ancient, wise and powerful, yet they seemed willing to put you forward as a figurehead for this endeavour. You cannot help but ask why.
When I speak, I mean what I say. We Thrall are beings out of time. Those of us who lived before the humans came cannot let go of a time when such barbarity was unthinkable. Those who have been born in this swamp are so frightened by the tales of the elder Thrall they are rooted to the ground in fear. But you have shaken our people from their slumber. You were the first to fight back. Not out of fear, but out of principle. You killed a human because you wanted to.
Cal Brancor raises his head to look up through the tangled treetops, towards the orange of a dying day, thin sunlight catching on the bony ridges formed across his brow.
Before that, our only option was peace and flight. You showed us there is a simple choice now. Peace has failed us. We can fight, or we can die. The other Thrall will come around eventually. There are ancient powers locked away beneath our old holds. We need only take them back, and we stand a chance.
And how, exactly, are you to take the first of these holds? How do you begin down a path that leads to your people's ascendance? You wander aloud, mostly to yourself, but Cal Brancor responds anyway.
This is not the first step on our journey, little Herald. Your world is still small, but I have been walking this way for some time. You will see.
The journey from Clor Dragur is an odd experience, as tribeskin from across the swamp move not in their usual small knots, but as part of a larger beast. Your people are hardy, and move through the boggy ground with an alacrity born of generations of experience, driving south through the swamp skirt faster than the humans have any hope of responding. Those small hunting parties of soldiers still scouring your former home at the edge of the plains are swept aside, while others manage to make a break into the open plains, rushing desperately for the safety of their stolen fortress. You have amassed a large group of fallen Thrall, whose unleashed fury allows you to deal with any human forces that attempt to hold their ground. Along the way, your numbers continue to swell. Those not able to attend the moot are receiving word as it sweeps through the swamp like a wildfire. Your onward rush stalls at the swamp edge, as you consider the enormity of what you intend to do next. To march out into the open plains, to invade for the first time those lands claimed by the original invaders, to face humanity in a contest of its own design, and to win. It is here that Cal Brancor reveals the extent of their planning. A distant horn sets the assembled kin scrabbling for their makeshift weapons and positions, Bowstrings are pulled taut, hunting spears and bone knives are gripped tight in anticipation. Your fallen trial protectors champ and grunt, seeming to strain against their own self-control. But what emerges from the deepening night is no human. The hulking silhouette is recognizable as one of your own, even from this distance. Shorter and broader than usual, certainly, but still one of your own. Another similar figure emerges not long after, and then another, each one clad in hammered plates of metal that echo the armor of the knight you slew what feels like an age ago. Each one hefting a sharpened lump of black iron.
Where is the one you call Herald?
The voice echoes out of the encroaching dark, and several faces turn to you as you step forwards. These are not your kin of the swamp. These are mountain and cave dwellers, their culture honed by scarcity and border friction with the creatures below. Where your own skin is mottled with browns and greens from close and constant contact with swamp filth, these orcs are a more uniform spectrum of greys, ranging from near ghostly white to dark as pitch. The one at their front cocks a head in your direction, casting an appraising eye over you. Scars ridge their slate-hued face, and one eye is covered with a scrap of rust-stained cloth.
This is they.
Cal Brancor is beside you, as always, still towering over those nearby, and has indicated to you with a gesture.
You are hurt, Breek.
The cave orc shrugs dismissively.
There was a challenge. Some said we should not come, that our iron and numbers were better used to sit in the dark and rust.
They embed the crude sword in the ground at their feet with a sharp motion, then scratch at the ad hoc eye bandage absent-mindedly.
I have put the matter to rest.
They turn their remaining eye towards you.
We have come, as asked, to follow the Herald and reclaim our birthright. Brought you every scrap of metal we could find, too. But I won't be bowing and scraping to nobody. Nor would anyone ask you to. We are equals here. Thrall, Swampkin, and Cave Dweller. All fight for survival now. We are united by the humans' contempt for us. We are all orc.
The following morning, your ever-growing horde sets foot on the plains for the first time in 3 generations, crushing the yellow grass beneath footfalls which are hesitant at first, but become firmer and more confident as the sheer volume of orcs at your back becomes apparent in the open ground. A great, dark wave, blinking against raw, unfiltered sunlight. Lightly armoured human riders scatter ahead of you, no doubt spreading word of your approach. And as you march, Cal Brancor continues your tutelage, filling your mind with talk of tactics, morale, logistics and strategy. Accustomed to receiving wisdom from Thrall at every stage of your life, you listen and you learn, drinking in the knowledge, dark and evil though it seems to you, knowing that it could mean the difference between victory and extinction. Only when your horde comes to rest do you have a moment to reflect, to build up the courage to ask, how? How does a being whose extended life has been filled only with pacifism and flight know how best to break the will of an enemy, or gauge weak places in an army's lines. Cal Brancor shrugs when you pose the question.
Does it truly matter? You have set your people in motion now. There is no stopping what comes next.
Your people. Before you, rising from the plain like a trial scar, the walls of what the humans call Elder Keep are strung out in a sweeping arc, metal glinting along the ramparts. You are standing on a slight rise, looking out towards the defences. Already your eye instinctively picks out places where sight lines overlap or are limited. Already your mind is working toward the most efficient method of killing the creatures that squat in this place. You have been encamped here for 2 days now, but the hour is finally at hand. The other Thrall from the Moot arrived at your camp last night, trailing those few Orc who still believed that peace was a viable path forwards. They brought gifts. Great, rough-hewn gantries with leather bladders of combustible swamp gas suspended beneath. These bladders fed into large metal tubes of truly ancient craft. And Calthrag assured you that should the battle become unavoidable, these devices could be used to hurl orbs of stone and metal toward the walls at blistering speed. A boon, without a doubt, but one that came with a final demand from those Thrall still clinging to the vain hope of coexistence.
I have sent the challenge, as you requested.
Cal Brancor seems to chafe at the words.
To duel the chieftain who claims this place. The victor will take possession of our long-lost hold. I doubt they will accept.
Regardless, honor and the Thrall demand that you try, one last time, to avoid the slaughter to come. You fully intend to complete the challenge yourself. It seems only right. But Cal Brancor is insistent.
Slaying a knight in desperation is not the same as fighting a duel with one. You are too valuable now to risk such a gesture.
Eventually you acquiesce, if such is the Thrall's will. Strange that a Thrall whose countenance had caused so many to doubt he would ever speak again should prove the mouthpiece for this final act of diplomacy. More than once, members of Cal Brancor's tribe have come to you to offer thanks, believing that you somehow cured the aging Thrall's infirmity with your words and presence. It is only an hour before the response is sent from the keep, sent by a single, strident note. Challenge accepted. They wish to resolve the disagreement with honor then. A simple territorial dispute after all these centuries. You almost feel foolish, having brought so many of your kin with you, anticipating no honor in your human opponents. But it seems they do still believe in avoiding unnecessary bloodshed.
We shall resolve this as tradition and honor demand. I will face their chieftain, and I will claim what has been lost.
At last. You bow your head in gratitude to Cal Brancor, and for the first time since Rakartrel's death, you allow yourself to hope. The trial returns the gesture. Then, hefting 2 great slabs of sharpened metal, they stride out through the parting ranks, bellowing a challenge as they go. The gates set into the wall on the far side of the plain swing open sluggishly, and a figure clad in shining metal strides out, a poleaxe held out to one side. You look on in silence and wait for the fate of your people to be decided on a blade's edge.
I am Thrall, immortal, ageless, caged. Something has taken me away from myself, left me a prisoner in my own mind. My voice is lost. My words are no longer my own. My body moves, but I am no longer in control. Something dark and insidious is using my body for its own ends. My tongue speaks of warfare and violence. My throat tears in a bellow of challenge. I watch as though through misted glass, as my own hands heft weapons. There is a human ahead of me, sprinting toward me, weapon ready. I hear my own roar, feel my own heart pumping in my chest as our blades meet. I am Carl Brancor, and someone else is in my head, and they are laughing.
Thank you for listening. This has been the conclusion of our second tale together, although there will doubtless be further stories from the Herald's perspective as we delve deeper into the actions and occasions that shape the world and the emerging conflict. Now that we have completed multiple tales together, I would ask you to consider sharing the channel with others who you feel may enjoy similar content. I have no intention of stopping, and there is plenty more to come. And while I do have some plans for upcoming tales, now would be an excellent time to share some of your own thoughts on the future direction of our narratives. Your engagement means the world to me, and I'm keen to continue to tell the tales you want to hear, so please do take the time to leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought, how you felt, and what you want to see next. Until we meet again, traveller, farewell and safe travels.